Hello, parents and students of 5NC. This is Mr. C here, back at ya, also known as Big C. And today we're going to be taking a quick look at the truth triangles. All right, so what the heck is this whole thing about truth triangles, and why am I learning about them? Well, parents and students, as you know, every morning when you come into my classroom, I'm sitting outside, and I like to sort of give you a quick little quiz on certain things we will be doing in math. Perhaps it's language, a little something to sort of get your brains working. And for the first few weeks, I was doing a lot of multiplication and even some division problems, okay? It's those little moments that really do add up. And a lot of the time when I showed a lot of students in this class a division problem, they kind of scratched their head at it because we're not as comfortable with division for the most part as we are with multiplication. But what we need to understand is we need to start getting creative with numbers and creative with problems in math, okay? And there is really no difference between multiplication and division. There is no difference between the two things. They are really the two different ways to say the same thing. And the same goes with addition and subtraction. It's really just two different ways to say the same thing. And sometimes when we turn an equation around in our heads, if we make a division problem into a multiplication problem, all of a sudden the answer becomes clear. So that's the basic idea behind the truth triangle. So here's how it works. Get our page up here. Okay. So on tomorrow's assessment, you will see a triangle. Boom, boom, and boom. Not the best triangle in the world, but you get the idea. Now inside that triangle, you'll see two mathematical operations, multiplication and division. And you will then see three numbers. We'll have 28, we'll have 4, and we'll have 7, okay? Now the idea is to make 4 mathematical equations, 4 of them. Every truth triangle has 4 equations that make that triangle true and complete. Okay? So for equations, well, equations always have an equal sign. Equal equation. Yeah, those two words sound familiar. So you just go ahead and put in your equal sign there. All right? Now, the trick here, the skill here is to use all 3 numbers and one of these equations. And remember, there's 4 of them, okay? So we could do 7 times 4 equals 28, okay? We could also do 4 times 7 equals 28. And a lot of you stopped when we were doing this in class and said, well, Mr. Clark, that's the same thing. Yes, it's the same answer. They do both equal 28, but those are 2 different equations. Okay? And some of the times, you may be really comfortable with 7 times 4 equals 28. If I ask you, what is 7 times 4, and you tell me it's 28 in a split second, but then I ask you what 4 times 7 is, and there's a little pause, you see that's how our brains are wired, okay? And if you're not that comfortable with 4 times 7, hopefully you can get to a point where you can change it around and make that into 7 times 4, so the answer becomes right there at in the top of your head, okay? Now let's use division. In division, it's important to always start with the largest number, and in this case, it's 28. So it's 28, and we say divided by. That division sign is always read as divided by. So 28 divided by 7, and that equals 4. And we can also do 28 divided by 4 equals 7. 4 mathematical equations using 3 numbers, and either one of these mathematical operations, your truth triangle is true and complete. Okay? So that's the basic idea behind these truth triangles. It's turning division into multiplication. If you look at a division problem and you scratch your head, let's get good at changing that division problem into a multiplication problem. For instance, if I asked you what 28 divided by, let's make sure you see this, 28 divided by 4, and you said, you kind of didn't really know what that was, but if I asked you 4 times what number equals 28, oh, well, of course, that's 7, okay? We will continue to work on this particular skill. Math is all about being creative. Math is an art form. If you think of math as just numbers on a page, think again, because this class is all about being creative, finding new ways to do different problems. And hope you have fun with this. Give yourself some practice with it and be ready for tomorrow. Thanks for listening.